The existing sensor has two little push tabs here. Just push and you should be able to release. There's the inside of mine. It appears that there's some bluish substance. It's not actually obvious corrosion on the pins of the connector, the metal portions of the connector itself. If you look inside the actual connector, there appears to be something similar at the top there. And I'm wondering if that's actually leaking washer fluid rather than corrosion. The pins don't look too bad themselves. So, you know, the color of the washer fluid is actually blue, and I'm wondering if that was what this is. I cleaned this out thoroughly, and you can see there's a little bit of dielectric grease in there as well, about month and a half ago. So what is up at the top here is entirely new. So this is what I found when I took out the old washer fluid level sensor. I don't think I broke this when I took it off. There's a lot of corrosion, obviously, on one side of you know, the sensor tine or whatever this is, but something was going wrong, and you know, this thing's only a year old or maybe a little bit more. The tines on the inside are slightly narrower than the new sensor, so let me show you what the new sensor looks like. So here is the new sensor. It's dimensionally almost identical. However, the sensor tines that go into the fluid are basically like flat prongs on the old one. On the new one, they're round. My understanding is that there is some known problem with these sensors leaking, and hopefully this is the correct replacement. On the new one, the tabs on the inside are slightly wider than the tabs, sorry about this, the tabs on the old one, and I'll make sure that those connect well. So the replacement part is a washer level sensor that fits VW and Audi. These are the numbers on it. It's labeled in a Bilstein box, so it's obviously meant for, you know, Bilstein. It's not some knockoff aftermarket. However, it is made in China. The companion gasket that goes with it is this. I'll put these part numbers in the description. If you look at the two connectors, there's a very slight difference in the external dimensions. So the new one is on top. It's very slightly longer in the superior inferior direction. It's very, very minimally slightly wider, and there's some interference when you try to put it in with the connector that plugs into it. Also, because the tabs that fit into the wiring harness connector are slightly wider, what I ended up doing is I took a file and I very slightly filed down the tips of these connectors with this file. I'm not going to file here because I don't have two hands. And I'm also in the process of slightly filing down this contour, and then I will finish by filing down this flat contour so it fits a little smoother in the connector and there's not quite as much interference. This is the original sensor, and it appears that we get infinite resistance. It's essentially an open circuit. Ohm meter's set at 200,000 ohms. I took a toothbrush and then a brass brush and cleaned out the contacts. There was a little bit of corrosion in them. And then I'm taking this electrical contact cleaner and I'll just finish getting any last little debris out of there. So I didn't have two hands free, but that definitely slid in a lot easier. My guess it's actually the outside of the new sensor that's causing the interference. That just slid straight in. I still probably would slightly recontour the inner tines of the electrical contacts on the sensor side, but I think the bulk of the problem is the outside of the sensor fitting into this is very slightly large and makes it kind of a press fit instead of a slide. I would also recommend doing this with the sensor not being installed first, because you're going to go through a lot of pain if you try to figure out the fitting with that already in. It's much easier to do like this. Okay, now that the sensor is reattached, I put a little bit of just standard silicone grease where it meets the fitting, and it should just pop straight in. And there we go.